It's not that bad. Hey guys, it's year 2020 and we have a new chassis. I guess I'm gonna retire this. You can see it's so familiar. This is the VS chassis. I guess I'm gonna retire it because today we have a new chassis that we are going to talk about, and we're gonna get a detailed look. What's up guys, it's your boy Shellshock from City USA Mini 4-Wheel Drive Racing Squad, and I'm a teacher here in Newworks, and today we are going to talk about the VZ chassis. But before I start my video, I want to say shout out to Yo Clothing. If you are into Filipino 90s theme clothing line and apparel and stuff like this hat, Yo Clothing, I have the link at the description below. And also I want to say shout out to Team Chubby and Tuners North Mall. Thank you for the shirt, Sir Jason Kid from Tuners North Mall. Shout out to all the racers over there. And also I want to say shout out to Matrix High Speed Oil and Matrix Power Cleaner. It's available with this big bottle and this bottle, and also it's available with this tiny bottle over here. High Speed Matrix Oil and Power Cleaner. And as I've said earlier, we are going to talk about this brand new chassis. It's the VZ chassis. We're gonna have a detailed look, and we're also gonna build it, all right, for box stock for now. But this gonna be everything from the box, and G-Shock's gonna explain all the brief history and detail about it in 2 seconds.
The VZ chassis is a mini 4-wheel drive chassis released by Tamiya. It was officially unveiled in the 2019 All Japan Model and Hobby Show, which was held from September 27 to September 29, 2019. It was first equipped with Neo VQS. For the general info, being a successor to the VS chassis, the VZ chassis retains several aspects of its predecessor. It has a short 80mm wheelbase and is equipped with the same gear set, terminals, battery switch type, and propeller shaft. However, the chassis now comes with a carbon pinion gear by default. The main chassis frame features semi-multi-subframe design, which allow it to have similar chassis strength comparable to that of the FMA chassis. Like most of the current chassis, the front bumper and the rear stay has been extended and has a default configuration of a pair of rollers on the front and 2 pairs of rollers on the rear. Various attachment holes can be spotted on the main chassis frame, allowing it to be attached with various grade-up parts. The small battery clip on the chassis, which inherited from its predecessor, has been strengthened too. Whereas most latest chassis has their A parts molded in the low-friction polyoxymethylene plastic, the VZ chassis has its A parts molded in the standard ABS plastic. The bearings are still molded in the polyoxymethylene plastic, minimizes the power loss. What set it apart from the rest of the chassis is that the VZ chassis now featuring the user-removable front bumper, which was attached to the main chassis frame with a pair of strut screws in the stock setup. The VZ chassis, as with the FMA chassis, features the removable rear stay. This allows racers to convert it into the bumperless setup without the need of cutting tools. However, it doesn't come with any skid bar by default. Now let's go back to Shellshock.
Racing black ABS. Alright, so if you're looking for what kind of material did they use, it's right there. It says ABS. And as you can see, the date that it was manufactured, it's 2019, and there's the item number over there. This one's made in Japan. It's not made from the Philippines, and a bunch of numbers over there. I don't know what number are those, but this is the item number, and that's 2019 Tamiya, and that's where you can find what kind of material was used. All right, so as you can see, it's very small because it does have a detachable bumper. Now we'll show you later, but usually when I'm building chassis. This one is very new. Unfortunately, we don't have the stats yet because this chassis is not out. I got this kit before it was out, so hopefully in the future I can give you the stats, but we can have a brief idea already, or hints about this chassis. You can see there's a lot of holes, so I think the adaptability of this chassis would be high for the stats. Alright, so usually when I'm building, I usually start with the gears and propeller shaft. So that's what we are going to do, because this is brand new to us, so bear with me. I'm not gonna be as quick, and everything is brand new. Alright, so we have this 1.4 wheel shaft right here, and I believe it goes right here. There you go. So it's like the VS chassis, it's on this side and it goes on top like that. Alright, one of the VS chassis weakness is that part right there. It always breaks, but this time it was reinforced. So you can see it was really reinforced, so it looks good from this side. And then we have this crown gears. This kit is actually equipped by a 351 gear, but this chassis is compatibility is capable with having its compatibility would be 5.1, 421, 4.1, 371, and 351. So any gear you can use with this. Alright, so it goes like that. Same as the VS chassis. And this is just dish gear. And here are the wheel shafts. It's 60mm stainless steel wheel shaft. Nothing new. It's standard for Tamiya. And this one is very interesting. This is the wheel bushing, or some people call it wheel plastic bearings. But these are polyoxymethylene, which is low friction already, and it says the POM right there. Alright, so you can see it's polyoxymethylene. So I'll put it on the sides now. There you go. Easy to remove. It really looks like a VS chassis right now, but upgraded VS chassis. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna put the wheels. So these are medium 5-spoke wheels, and we're gonna use this low profile slick tires, and we're gonna put it over here. So while I'm putting this to the wheels that we have from this VCQS kit, the wheelbase of this chassis is 80mm, which is very similar to the VS chassis. So the wheelbase is from here to here. That is 80mm. Alright. And then once I got this done, the ground clearance would be 2.5mm. So that makes sense because this chassis is very short. So it's very similar to the VS chassis, obviously, because it's related to VS chassis. So I assume that the cornering will be very good, and it's going to be good for modified class, tune class, and even in box stock, because the cornering speed will be awesome. And because this wheel shaft is only 60mm, so that is very impressive. Alright, so also, so you can see these are the terminals, and for the switch, this is an X-type switch. So it's compatible with Super X VS chassis too. And it goes like that, just the same as the VS chassis, so it's still the same, still nothing new with the 8 parts. And here's your switch, so it's still traditional. It goes right here, and it slides like that, so it's still very, very familiar. And then the switch cover is still the same. As you can see, it goes like that still. Snaps. So it still looks like a VS chassis to me. Alright, so we're putting this wheels right here. If I get it right, there you go. and that's the front. So I'm gonna put this right here. So we are just doing, this is just a stock build, so I'll just try to make it really quick. There you go. And then the rear part over here, again, the compatible gear set is 5.1, 4.1, 4.21, 3.71, and 3.51. So basically, almost all of the gears are compatible, except from those older chassis gears, obviously. The drive shaft length is also 60 millimeters. If you guys notice that this is quite short still, just like the old school VS chassis. Alright, so the width from here, like the widest part of the chassis from here to here is 98 millimeters. So this chassis is very narrow, right? So it's very narrow, and that makes sense to make the chassis very good in cornering. And then now we're gonna put the let's see, what can we do over here next? All right, so let's put the motor first. Let's do the motor right here. So that's the motor catch, and let's get the pinion gear. All right, so this is interesting. The pinion gear of VZ chassis is carbon. So I found out, I did a lot of research. This one trivia for you guys: when you're using a VZ chassis, especially on official Tamiya rules, especially in Japan Cup, you are not allowed to use the purple or pink gear anymore. I don't know what's the reason, but now you can only use the carbon with a stock motor. So if you're running box stock, this is what's in the box, so this is what you can use with this motor. So again, the terminals are X-type, so it's still the same as the VS chassis and the Super X. It's still copper. So we're gonna do that. Still snap on, still the same. It goes right here on top, and it's still pretty the same. It's familiar. You can see it's familiar, even this. And then you have one plastic bushing over here, which is low friction, so we're gonna put it in the gear, and it still goes on top like that. All right, still the same as the VS. All right, so for now, what we can see is the only upgrade that we can see is adaptability. So you have so many holes, and obviously the bumper, because you have the detachable bumper. All right, so next part we're gonna put, which is, I think, is very interesting, is this one. I gotta cut it first. All right, so this is the gear cover. As you can see, this is the gear cover, and this gear cover right here have a hole right here. See, and you can think that's what secures it. All right, it goes on top like this. It's my first time, it's your first time too, guys, so it snaps like the VS chassis. All right, but it does have a screw hole that can secure it. So if we look at, I think there's an extra screw for it. Yeah, there is. So it goes like this, right? Do it right now. All right, so that's one upgrade right there from the VS. You can secure that lock anymore. You don't, because this one on VS chassis, it keeps on popping. Now it's secured. Pretty sure Tamiya will make an upgrade on that one. All right, so next that we're gonna do, oh, this is new, kind of new, but it looks like a close to TZ but still VS. You know, it's kind of like combined of a VS and a TZ for the battery lock. So it goes over there, it goes like that. All right. This VZ chassis obviously have a detachable bumper, which is very new for all of us, and I'm excited to do it. There you go. And it's because it's detachable, it's like semi-multi subframe design, makes it durable like the FMA. So it's the same as the FMA, like when it comes to durability. So that means they made an upgrade when it comes to its toughness. So that's one category that we gotta look on. I'm excited. I'm not from Tamiya, so I can't really give the stats for it, but that is one thing I think that got upgraded. So you can see this crazy adaptability. You have a lot of holes there, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. That's crazy. See? Like 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, and 14, just the front bumper itself. And you don't have to do any bumperless, which is just really crazy if you think about it. So now we're gonna put the bumper, and the manual, it says the screws goes there, but I think you can put the screws either here or here, but it says it goes here. So we're just gonna follow what are the instructions at the manual. All right, so there you go. So there's your bumper. So I guess that's the widest part, not this. So the widest part, again, as I've said earlier, the widest part is this. So that width is 98 millimeters. So that front bumper is 98 millimeters, which just make it stable. All right, so I think the stability of this chassis also is gonna be good. I'm getting really excited right now. So the rear part looks like this, right? As you can see, it added more holes for adaptability also, and it's more sturdy. In my opinion, it's a little bit more sturdy compared to the one with the VS got. So this is really an upgrade, and it goes on top like that, and it actually have a mold there, so it locks up even though it's not screw yet, so it's not moving that much. And you can see there's like extended plastic holes over here, and that's an upgrade. All right, so it's not too long, it's just perfect, and we're gonna put this on. All right, so according to the instructions, we need to use washers. I hate using washers because it adds weight, but I guess we gotta do it because it's our first time building this. It goes the rear over here, so it goes up top like that. It's pretty secure. I like it. I'm kind of biased because I love VS. I'm so excited that VS chassis got a new sister. All right, there you go. It's good tight. There you go. We're almost done here. Wow. So again, the length is 158 millimeters. So from here to here is 158 millimeters. Wow, it's really cool. All right, so this one right here is also a new part, also an upgrade. Pushes the motor. So this one's really similar with the FMA, I think, but it goes right here and pushes the motor. Very stylish. So it pushes the motor, I think, to align the gears right there. Oh, I'm so excited to do this. All right, so these are the rollers, and there goes a front, and this goes to the rear. All right, so we gotta put it all. So there you go. We got the front tightening up. So now we're gonna put rollers the rear, but this is new because it's gonna be double. yeah, it's gonna be doubled. And we're on the last roller. All right, so that's what it looks like now. The last part would be this lock, the body shell lock, but I'm not putting the body shell yet because I'm just gonna show you all the chassis. All right, so the weight of this chassis with the batteries is 108.3 grams. It depends what kind of battery you're using, but that's pretty light with the batteries if you guys gonna ask my opinion. So I think this car will fly fast on my first look, but still no proof. Those are just like assuming it's gonna be fast. And then the ground clearance is 2.5. So if you take a look, I mean, it's 2.5. That's the clearance right there, 2.5. So that's pretty, you know, pretty low. So the center of gravity is really, really low with this chassis. All right. So we're using medium diameter with low profile tires, so that also makes it really low. So to sum it up, the length is 158 millimeters from here to here. The width is 98 millimeters, which is the widest part of the chassis. 98 millimeters. The wheelbase is 80 millimeter from here to here, which is really, really short. And then the ground clearance is 2.5, which is really low. Drive shaft length is 60 millimeter, so that's really narrow. Roller down truss, it's not available yet, but I think it's pretty much like maybe I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. It's like kind of like it's really like angling down, so I'm not sure. Terminal is X type and the battery is 108. I mean the weight is with batteries is 108.3, depends of what kind of battery you use. So I think the adaptability obviously for me is almost perfect. The weight of the car is really light, so acceleration will be really fast. This car is gonna fly. Toughness, this is pretty tough, but it's still twisting. That's what really kind of bothering me, but obviously it's not gonna be VS if it's not twisting. So you can see those extra holes over there. It's very light, so it's still VS. Acceleration will be super fast, and then you're equipped with small wheels, so acceleration is really fast. You know, when it comes to cornering speed, I think this will be really fast because it is very narrow. Drive shaft length is very narrow, so it's 60 millimeters, so it makes sense. So cornering speed, acceleration, I think it would be fast. Toughness, ease of maintenance. All right, one category. I guess it's easy to maintain because, as you can see, everything look like a VS, so maintenance will be fine in my opinion. So now that it's built, we're gonna try to turn it on. Remember, there's no grease yet. So for my opinion, that is really smooth. Because this thing helps push it. There's no gears yet, so it's loud. But I think on my first start, it is smooth. So let's see what else we can do here. We put some oil on it. No grease, no anything. I was gonna use grease, but I'm gonna use oil. So this one snaps on here. Let's see if that will snap quick. Oh, it's easy. Alright, so I'm gonna use my oil on the gears and obviously at the bushings over there. Alright, and then we do it up front too. So it's very similar to VS when you're snapping things like this. Oil on the gears. Pushing. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, let's try it again. There you go. More quiet now. So obviously you can still see the gears, because we need to break in the gears, but we need to push that part. Now it's quiet. It got quiet now, which is good. there you go. So I think really the acceleration will really be good on this one. So it definitely, Tamiya did a good job. Oh, I'm excited to use this. To sum it up, I think this will be good for box stock, for pro stock, for Cub stock or super stock. I think it's gonna be good for T-Max stock too. I'm just worried about the sides because they're kind of like, you know, they're kind of brittle, so they might snap. But I think this would be good for T-Max stock. It will be good for basic tune class, modified tune class, and obviously the adaptability is crazy, and, you know, open class. So I think this chassis would be good for every category. I just don't know if it's gonna be good for tech unless tech players have a way of making this sturdy, and it's kind of narrow to be a tech car. So that's the only category I think that will not work. But I think this will work with high speed too, box stock high speed, and high speed open class or high speed tune class races. So yeah, so I think this chassis would be great for all those categories. What do you think about this VS chassis? Do you think it's a good buy? Do you think Tamiya did an upgrade, or it's like, nah, it's another chassis, it's alright, it's like Super 2 or whatever? It's wide, so I think also the stability is way better than the VS. That's my opinion. So tell me what you think about this VZ chassis. Hit the comment section, interact with me. If you like this video, hit like. If you don't like this video, you can dislike this video. I don't mind. That's how YouTube works. This is Shell Shock from CTUSA Mini 4-Wheel Drive Racing Squad, and I'm a teacher here in Noobworks. And I always say, we learn from you, you learn from us. Always race humble. Peace.